Welcome back to Tasha's heirloom table. If you're wondering, I have it right here on my apron. You can see. We are changing things up a little bit today, and we're going to do a savory dish. So, just a reminder, on this channel, we are cooking through and or baking through my grandmother's recipe box. And today we are making potato salad, which I know sounds pretty, common, whatever. I can't think of the word I want to use, but this was in there and we're baking everything or making everything. And this recipe intrigued me because we have a potato salad recipe that my mom used to make, Mimo used to make. It is not this recipe. So this has some interesting ingredients in it, and maybe you make one like this, but I was intrigued by it. So this is from Mildred, and we've made some of Mildred's recipes before, albeit they have been cakes or baked goods, but apparently they liked her potato salad well enough to write it down and put it in the box. So we are going to make that today. I've done a few things ahead of time. The first thing is to boil 6 to 8 potatoes, 6 or 8. I did 8 because mine were a little smaller. I just used russets. Boil in their jackets, which means their skin, which I did not do because it doesn't say to peel them in the ingredients ever. And my family is not going to eat potato salad with, I'm not sure they're going to eat it with most of these ingredients anyway, but I definitely know they're not going to eat it with the peel still on the potatoes. So I did 8 potatoes using my handy Tupperware bowl. So it's truly a vintage recipe. So I have those chopped up in here, ready to go. And then next it says to add 1 medium onion chopped, and I got a sweet onion. And I, again, doing an adaptation, which is not honestly true to this channel, but you're probably watching me going, you could have done that way better. You know what? You're right. I probably could have. But I'm only doing half of an onion because, again, taste preference, I don't even know if they're going to like it with onion in it at all. So let's just, kind of lessen the odds of them not liking it and use just half. I do have the other half here ready to go. If I taste it and it's like, okay, it needs a full onion, then we'll add the full onion. So we did our onion. Next is half a cup of sweet pickles. So let's dump those in. I have never put pickles in a potato salad. My family potato salad recipe, we use the green onions, but since my husband came around, we don't use the green onions anymore. So we'll see how this goes. But half a cup of sweet pickles chopped, and then 3 hard-boiled eggs. Oh, don't worry. Chopped, and I did not chop these yet, so you're going to get to chop them with me because I'm going to tell you how I did these eggs. These eggs were done in an Instapot, and I learned this technique a couple of years ago where you put them in an Instapot and you put 1 cup of water in the bottom of it and use the grate or something to keep the eggs. You don't want them in the water. And then you cook them on high heat for 5 minutes. So, and it takes a second for the Instapot to come up to pressure. 5 minutes. As soon as it gets done, as soon as that 5 minutes is over, you do You relieve the pressure on the Instapot, so you don't let it self-release. You release it manually. And then immediately put it under cold water. And I usually add some ice because you want to quit cooking your eggs. And every time I do that, these peel so well. So that's my little boiled egg tip for you today. So we did 3 boiled eggs, chopped. Okay, so boiled eggs are not a foreign ingredient for me. Got mayonnaise all over my arm. Okay, here's where things to me get a little interesting, and I'm going to move my cutting board. Okay, the next step is to mix whipped cream until stiff. Who puts whipped cream into your potato salad? I'm keep getting mayonnaise on me. Now my mom has used whipped cream in, like, when she makes chicken salad, she'll pour it in liquid whipped cream. But this is stiffly whipped cream, which I think is so weird. But we're gonna try it. Okay, this is half a pint of whipping cream, and I have already done the whipping for you. So, see, stiff. And the rest of these ingredients I'm going to add to this, and then it says whip all together until fluffy. So I'm going to add it right into this whipped cream. So we have 1.5 cups of mayonnaise. I have that in my handy. My daughter calls this a vlooper because you just push it out. She's like, it's like a vloop, which I don't even know that that's a real word, but she's been saying that for years. So that's just what we call it, a vlooper at this house. Add 2 tablespoons of sugar, which is another ingredient I have not used in potato salad, but put those in. 2 tablespoons. A teaspoon of mustard, which I know a lot of people use mustard. I do not use mustard, and I'm just going to eyeball this because I don't want to dirty a teaspoon for that. And then salt to taste. So we're going to add, we'll add that, and then we'll taste it and add some more if we need to. Now we're going to whip this, it says, until fluffy. Honestly, I think that's about as fluffy as that's going to get. Okay, it says to reserve 1 cup of this, so we're going to pour it in here. Okay, 1 cup. Okay, this is for sure not your low-fat potato salad. Okay, now it says add remaining mixture to potatoes and toss well. So we're going to toss it, aka mix it with this. I've never in my life measured ingredients for potato salad. And I imagine Mildred didn't either, but well, maybe she did. She's a baker and I'm a baker, but potato salad is kind of more of a feel, look recipe, in my opinion. But okay, let's give this a good mix. You know, I probably should have tasted that dressing before I did this, so I could have added more salt if necessary. I mean, it's very creamy, which you would think because, well. Now the cup, it says to reserve. I'm wondering if you pour that over right before you serve it. But I'm not serving this till later, and I want to taste it now. So I'm not sure what to do. Because I think what will happen is I'm going to put this in the refrigerator and it's going to absorb, those potatoes are going to absorb that. And so I think the idea is that you would put the extra dressing over this right before you serve it so that it isn't dry, is my thinking. So if you also think that, let me know in the comments. Okay, I'm gonna grab a fork roll or a couple forks real quick. Now, I grabbed a couple because I'm showing you this and I don't want you to watch me taste this with the same fork a couple times. Although my grandmother said the cook can never put germs in here because you're cooking it. So cook gets a taste whenever she wants. Which, you know, could leave you to question all the things that she cooked for us. But, you know, they were always good. So, okay. That for sure needs more salt. So, let me give this a little mix again. Also got no onion and no pickle in that taste, so I'm going to try to dig around for. Don't think this makes a whole lot. This bowl was probably a little ambitious for, so no egg in there. Okay. I know there's pickle in this bite. I don't know about egg. Okay, we'll see. Oh, I think there's a little bit of egg in here. Okay, let's give this. I mean, that's not bad, actually. I like it. A couple things I would do differently. I would put a lot more pickles in here. I'm probably gonna put some pepper. And when we make our potato salad, which doesn't have most of these ingredients, we put celery salt, and that just elevates the taste so much. So I am going to add a little bit of celery salt to this. I may just serve it on the side and like just put it on my serving, but definitely a great potato salad. Also, what I'm going to do is put this in the fridge. I'm going to save this and then just pour it on top right before we eat it tonight for dinner. I am serving this tonight with some barbecued horseshoe sausages, which are a favorite here. And we have a couple of other sides too, but I think this will be a great side. I actually think my husband's going to like it. The sugar didn't make it too sweet. I would say maybe similar to maybe having like a honey mustard in here instead of a mustard. So maybe when she wrote the recipe, I don't know when honey mustard was invented, but maybe they didn't have that. So you could try just using honey mustard instead of adding the sugar and the mustard. So the possibilities are endless. If you're interested in this recipe and you want to make it, check out the comments of this video and I will have the recipe in there. Also, while you're checking the comments, make sure you subscribe to this channel. And if you like this content, share it with your friends. And if you've made anything on this channel, let me know. I'd love to hear from you. And if you've changed anything or you made something that was disastrous for me and it was successful for you, let me know. So I am glad we made this today, and I'll see you next time on Tasha's Heirloom Table.